Whoa.
There I am.
There we are.
There we are. You're there. I'm here. You're to the right. I'm to the left. And wait, hold on. You're to the left. I'm to the right. And we are back here, ladies and gentlemen. It's PM in the AM. I know Al does a great job, but he's had a busy last 24 hours. So we know what the mayor of Delco is doing. He's sleeping. He's grabbing things, touching things.
Whoa.
Busy.
Coffee rule still in effect here about
Oh,
reaching and grabbing here, Patrick. Good morning. Of course, this is, again, as Pat Elkley says, PM in the AM. He is Pat Bernard. I am Mike Lauro. Whirlwind 24 hours for myself as well. But again, guys, before we get started, I just want to say thanks to certain people that reached out. Unfortunately, last night, my father-in-law, George Colon, passed away, my wife's father. So, yes, that was the reason I was not with you guys on Friday. Pat, thank you again for stepping in. So I just wanted to say that, guys, thank you. And a lot of people have reached out. Again, thank you guys so much. But Pat, we gotta get this thing. We gotta get this thing going here,
yeah,
man.
hey, Mike,
It's been crazy.
You want to do a reach out? Can you reach out to the Phillies and find out what in the world's going on with this baseball team from a week ago? I mean, I felt like we were still on top of the world about 10 days out, and here we are. We run into a Brewers team, and it seems like we just can't get ourselves off the canvas. I mean, this team has been not ugly. It went from good, bad to fugly. And listen, I would understand playing against a red-hot Brewers team. I get it. If you're going to lose, that was a series. I thought they were going to bounce back against the Blue Jays. They did not. And then to put the icing on the cake, they did not look good in the last weekend. I get it. Friday was a bullpen game. If you want to chalk that as a schedule loss. But, however, that bullpen game, those arms kept you in the game. They kept you. It's not their fault. They don't score runs. They can only do so much. And then yesterday, Ranger is on the hill. He gives you 5 Ks. And this team still only comes up with 1 home run from Kyle Schwarber and nothing at all. I mean, not to go on about this, but it seems like other than Trey Turner, who's been carrying this team on his back, and his back must be broken by now, he's about the only person to me worthy of a all-star talk, all-star conversation outside of Zach Wheeler. He's about the only one showing any kind of consistency on this team. Kyle Schwarber has not looked good in June. Nick Castellanos here and there. Alec Bohm is playing decent. Like Rob Thompson put together on paper a decent lineup. But after your 4 top guys of Trey Turner, Alec Bohm, Nick, Schwarber, and then Castellanos, after those 4, the rest on paper stinks. And by the way, if any more bad luck couldn't happen, Harper's not going to be here for at least another 10 days. So, Mike, I know you've been busy dealing with a lot of, with your father-in-law, and again, good grades to the Mr. Colin, God rest his soul. But I know you've been watching this Phillies team and also probably scratching your head and figuring what
it's like nobody's hitting in this lineup. And I said it a couple. I said it last week when this whole thing started, because this thing really started before the Toronto series. If you remember, they had a chance to really kind of bury the Braves and sweep them on that doubleheader, and they just didn't. They just stopped hitting. And I'm sorry, with this lineup in there, something's got to get done. And I really do feel one of these assistant coaches is going to get axed, because I don't think it's going to be Kaufman, the pitching coach. I think it's going to be the hitting coach. I think he's going to get axed, because I'm sorry, with this lineup right now, Castellanos' power numbers are down. Like, there's no way to put it. Alec Bohm's power numbers are down. Can't talk about that. JT Realmuto, I've been saying all year, he's a bat in his hand's a liability. And here's the thing. The one bright spot that they brought up, and I know we went 0 for 3 yesterday, but putting Otto Kemp in this lineup. Them bringing up Otto Kemp, I think, is going to facilitate this lineup going forward. I do. So I know a lot of people weren't ready to call me out on some things here. As we got the comments. Adam saying, "Do you think Harper's out the rest of the year?" I don't
No.
know. Ryan's here pounding his chest. Said, "I told you so."
Wow,
Just
Mike, you got somebody coming at you already.
yeah, but that's all right though, because you know
Yes.
what? In a baseball season, we can both be right about things. And right now, Ryan's what he said to me last week is right. He's saying this offense the last 4 years is either high or low, too inconsistent, too streaky. As a whole, it's always as a whole, and they're not a World Series contender. Stop with that. They're not a World Series contender. They got their top five. Uh, or their top six in records. So, I mean, the top 14 teams make the playoffs. So stop with that. They're not a World Series contender.
They're not playing like one right now. Yes.
No, they're not. They're not. But let's keep it real. Like the last 3 years, you know, the wild card team has not except for last year. Last year was the first year that really the best team turn around and won. Actually, no, it wasn't even the best team because the Dodgers didn't have the best record. The Phillies did. So they ended up, it was this. I think they were the number 2 team last year, and they ended up going to the World Series. Other than that, the two previous years before that, it was the wild card team.
Yeah,
so I mean, come on, pound your chest. But you know what? Who's not to say that they don't get on a roll here? Like they get a win. Like they beat Skeens the last time they went against them, but. I will say this. I think it's going to be a Herculean task today because Christian Sanchez has not been good his last, I'll say 4 starts. His last 4 starts, he's averaged what? 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and he gives up anywhere between, 2 to 4 runs a game. So the Phillies are going to have to bring their bats today against a guy who really doesn't give up a lot of runs. So I look at it like this. Can they turn it around? Yeah. But to me, I got to look. I think Dombrowski's holding. I think he's holding back before Pat he starts to go and make trades. He's looking to see what's more available out there. Because let's face it, I thought another good thing that the Phillies did this week, they DFA'd Ruiz. They sent him to the minors. He didn't report to the minors. He's now on the Atlanta Braves. He's Atlanta's problem now. So they got to do that with a couple more people.
Yeah, maybe a lot more people. But real fast, I want to give some loving and get some loving here on TikTok. A former rivalry of mine, Angel Gonzalez, checking in, says, "Morning, guys. Good morning." And he is also saying thoughts on Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. We'll dive a little bit into that. It's listen, that's going to be the Steelers' problem, not ours. But no, let's. I want to talk about with a couple of things you're saying here, because yes, Ryan, you're right. They're not looking like a World Series contender now. They have a lot of issues, right? Kevin Long, the hitting coach, needs to be gone. You lost 8 out of 9 games. You lost 3 straight series. You've lost 2 against one of the bottom feeders of the league. Yes, Kevin Long, the hitting coach, needs to go bye-bye. Okay, and everybody on the post-game show and the last couple shows, I know if you've dealt with it, I've dealt with it. Matty B's dealt with it. They want Topper gone. Is this what this team needs to do, Mike? Do we have to move on from a manager to get this thing a kick in the pants, to get things rock and rolling?
Who are you going to bring in? Who are you going to bring in?
So Mike Peppernick wants Dusty Baker to take over. That's who he's got to line up. Mike, I don't know if you want Dusty, but I don't know.
No. Listen, and I'm looking at the up-to-date standings right now in the National League. The Mets got 41 wins. The Cubs got 40 wins. The Dodgers, the defending champions, are at 38 wins, right? They're your 3 division winners. You know who the number 1, wild card team is right now? It's the Phillies at 37 wins. Okay, it's them, San Diego, and San Francisco. They're all basically around 37 wins, but they got the Phillies right there as the first wild card right now. Now, granted, you got, St. Louis is only a half a game behind those 3, and you got Milwaukee who's only 2 behind. But, I mean, come on. Here's the thing that kills me, okay, is that people are expecting, people are thinking that, oh, well, they're in a world of trouble. Dude, they do this every year. Every middle of the year, they go into a rut. It's just this year. Listen, remember they started going into the rut when they got back in the middle of June last year when they came back from London. They're in the middle of the same rut again. Now you're right, Schwarber. I think Schwarber should be an all-star. He's right there with the home run leaders, and he's been playing pretty good ball. Now the other guys that I've mentioned, they got to start picking their game up. And I'm sorry, a lot of people are probably going to want to bail on Otto Kemp right away because he went over 3 yesterday. I'm not ready to bail on the kid. I'm not. I feel like he's earned the right to be up here.
He's got a leash. Okay, it's day one. I don't think anyone's gonna harp on him for going 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. I get it. It's the jitterbugs, right? You're just coming to the show. I get it. I'm not mad with him at all. All right. But the rest of the lineup, yes, you can hold accountable. You can hold accountable for Kyle Schwarber not swinging the bat well as late in this June. You can hold accountable for JT Realmuto going as cold as ice cream. You can hold accountable for the Brandon Marshes, the Rojas's. You can hold accountable for Kevin Long. You can hold accountable Topper listen, Topper is trying to listen, we wanted Schwarber in the 4-hole. He's put him there. He's making adjustments everywhere, every day in this line to see what works. And he doesn't swing the bat. It's up to him in his eye test, just like you and I, to see what piece fits where. And nothing. But, we lose 3 straight series. And Mike, you mentioned about, listen, the team's going to go through a rough patch and they could get themselves off the canvas. I don't know if this team can, because when they hit the rough patch last year, yes, they were able to win some games and hang in there, but we've seen it. They were due for demise, and I hope this team is not due for demise unless they make a major change. And I don't know if a major trade or firing a hitting coach, firing the manager, it's going to be the kick in the pants that this team needs. Now, maybe it does, but somewhere along the way, this team needs a wake-up call.
Well, like this here, this here, I really don't think Otto Kemp is the answer, but there isn't anything to lose given who plays where. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think. I think Otto Kemp is an answer because the kid was tearing it up down in the minor leagues. Like, this is the Phillies' problem. Like, they leave their guys sitting down there forever. So finally, they kind of give in and go, "Hey, this kid's tearing the cover off the ball. Our main guy is down. Okay, our other superstars are not hitting. If it's not Kyle Schwarber, and I'm a little ticked off with Trey Turner yesterday too. Like, yeah, he's getting all this love. He's around 300, but like, damn, dude, can you get a hit when we need you to get a hit? Like, seriously.
But Mike, you just said it best, right? Your star player goes down. That's behind the scenes. They were talking about it. Dave Dombrowski went with the team to bring this kid up, Otto Kemp, and like you just said, he's been smashing the ball day in and day out down with the Iron Pigs. It's the perfect time to bring him in. Okay, his debut wasn't the greatest, but look who the hitting coach is. Look at the rest of the lineup. Are they hitting the ball well? No. So how can you blame a kid who's only being told what to do from this hitting coach?
Yeah, his first day up. Yeah,
you can't hold a leash on this kid. I mean, if like I said, it's day one. His bright days are still long ahead.
I think Kemp is a quadruple A. Crawford and Painter need to be up with the Phillies within 2 to 4 weeks. Well, I mean, they're going to bring Painter up. My whole thing is though, the kid. I'm tired of them ramping them up and then they cool them off. Like, to me, I don't. That's not consistent. And I think, like, to be honest with you, Brandon Marsh needs to be DFA'd. He needs to go down and play with Stubbs. And this is the kid who should be up here. I think Crawford should be up here because you can put him in the bottom of the lineup and he can get things going. You know what I mean? You got to take the training wheels off of something. Something's got to spark this team. And right now, this team is lifeless. It's lifeless. Right. It's going through the motions.
This is the same deja vu as last year. They were up until June. They start to cool down, and then they were able to hold off wins to get themselves into the postseason. They have now hit a rough patch, whatever. And look, if you watched yesterday's game, they made adjustments. They were being aggressive. It just nothing paid off. But when they were swinging, instead of swinging at everything that came into the strike zone, they were swinging things low and away, down in the dirt. I can't tell if this team's playing cricket, golf. I mean, I don't know what they're swinging at. And again, if you're going to hold accountability, you got to start the top. You got to start with Kevin Long. He is your problem. He's not making any adjustments to make these guys any better. Yes, they are taking the first pitch swings. They're aggressive, and nothing's paying off. And I
Yeah,
don't understand why they are swinging at things that are in the dirt. It's just fun.
it's mind-boggling, man, with these guys. And I agree with Steve here. I think Rinko does need to be brought up. That kid's got a nice pop off the bat. And here's the problem with the Phillies. Once you get past the starting 9, you got Amundo Sosa. And then after that, there's nothing. Now, granted, people are bringing up Cody Clemens. Well, Cody Clemens is getting a chance to play, and he's making the most of his opportunities out there. He wasn't going to get that here. But
No.
but here's the thing for me. Like I said, during the trade deadline, like I would not care. I would love to see Alec Boehm off this team because to me, Alec Boehm hasn't been doing anything. And you know what? I would go to Nick Castellanos and go, look, buddy, if you're going to be a singles hitter, I'm moving you out of my cleanup spot. Like the other Friday night, he went 3 for 3. He went 3 for 3 Friday night, but he was all 3 singles. Like, we need Nick Castellanos hitting bombs. Like, that's what we need.
You bring up a good point, Mike. I don't think this team is fit to win the World Series now. And maybe the Phillies front office think that they do, but do you think why Baum got sent to the 8-hole, start hitting the cover off the ball, played really, really well, his numbers went up, do you think they should have just traded him then and worried about next year? Or they just want to keep him because they know he's a good piece, or a good reliable piece that comes up in production, and just kept him. Why didn't they move on from him when he had the hot bat?
Because it's too early in the season. That's why. Like, no GM's making trades right about now. They're doing all minor stuff. And to Phillies' credit, they're doing the same thing. They're signing guys to minor, building up, and I think the reason why they're building up is because if you're taking a look, like they signed a couple people, okay, and they sent them right down to AAA. Well, if you're adding pieces to your AAA roster, that means you're about to start adding pieces from your AAA roster to your main roster, which means your main roster's looking to get moved on from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So again, they need a dance partner. You know what I mean? We can think of all these different places and all these different people, but you got to have, one, you know what I mean, to trade. And to be honest with you, if I'm the Phillies, I'm telling people Painter, Carpenter, or Painter, Crawford, and Miller are untouchable. Now, you want to talk about anybody else in our, in our farm system? You're more than welcome to. I think this is a great chance that if they don't move on from Boehm, Kemp being up here, if he shows he belongs, that's a trade chip. And as much as I don't want him, I would like to get a little younger going to that. But if it's not gonna work out, then it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean? Like, again, you have to. For me, honestly, the only thing I want to see is this Phillies team address their bullpen, and I think with Painter coming up, you could possibly see Ranger go to the bullpen. And I think that would boost the bullpen up. Plus, it gives you another left arm coming out of the pen. You know what I mean? The Phillies only have one left arm coming out of the pen. That's Strom.
Right.
And Banks. I forgot about Banks. But,
And like I said, I know, like I said, the bullpen hasn't been the strongest suit of this team. And just to mention, but hell, like I said, that bullpen game shows you those guys can wheel and deal a little bit. They did just enough yesterday, or on Friday rather, to keep you in the game. It's just right now the focus is the offense, and the offense just being lackluster. And there's some defensive deficiencies. Drop balls came from Rojas. Drop balls came from Nick Castellanos. Drop balls come from Brandon Marsh. We knew heading into this.
Weston Wilson.
And you want to talk about it? The biggest joke so far is Weston Wilson coming up here and is yet to deliver anything.
Yeah,
anything. And I've had high hopes for that kid.
Yeah, he kind of disappointed a little bit, but I think right here is the biggest problem I see is like guys like Wilson or whatever, they're bench pieces, and to me, I just feel like it's not enough. It's not enough. We have veterans on this team, but right now, like we've been saying all morning, Pat, where's Realmuto? Where's Castellanos? Boehm's not hitting. Bryson Stott's been kind of went MIA after he was doing such a great job at leadoff. You know what I mean? Like these guys, like those 4 guys got to go along with Harper. You know what I mean? Now Harper's not there. And now you got a kid taking Harper's spot in the batting. You know, you got to definitely step up, man.
Well, I'm with you because, like, when I see Bryson start swinging, right, he takes the first pitch, he takes a couple inside, but when there's a pitch that goes way outside, he'll swing at it, or down low, he'll swing at it. Like, he doesn't have the basic fundamentals down by now. And like I said, I don't know if it's him. I don't know what's going on. And like I said, it's not just him. Like I said, he's got a bad swing. The whole lineup has a bad swing right now. And you can only point the finger to me at one person. And it's no one in the lineup. It's at the hitting coach because it's a bad snowball effect. One guy, the whole team has been infected by a bad swing, and it comes from the hitting coach. Why hasn't he made any adjustments on the days off and working with this team? I mean, I'm not there with the team 24/7. I mean, this team obviously needs work in the batting cages because there's nothing shown on the field. But yeah, man, come on, Mike. Good morning, buddy. What did Mike say?
Oh, I'm sorry. He said, "Good morning, gents." It says, "Let's effing go, Phillies." What are the Dogs the only undefeated team?
Hold on. Let me answer this. Let me answer this guy. Hey, Mike, I love you, brother, and I can't wait to talk to you tonight. But listen, and we are going to talk a little Water Dogs. They deserve some rose petals, but bro, it's one game. You know what I mean? Let's keep it in the shorts, will you? Jeez, tuck in your tent.
Whoa. Barb saying pitching is not the biggest problem, though. The problem is the star hitters. Yes, exactly, Barb. That's what we're saying. But you know, I think really, if you're looking at it, I think, you know, you gotta blame Dombrowski a little bit for not kind of building this bench up a little bit. I feel like they should have better pieces on the bench. Our buddy Joe Sullivan from the Sully Squad, he's checking in. Morning, Joe. He said the Phillies blew their chance. This core's old now. I'm not going to say they're old, Joe, but they're just not hitting. Again, this has been the problem with this team, and this goes back to the 2022 season. You know, when they don't all get heated up at the same time, and they all go cold at the same time. It's been that way since 2022. Like, you would only get like you know, 2 or 3 guys in the lineup that were hot, and then they would cool off, and 2 other guys would get hot. Here's the problem: the other guys now, once these other guys are hot, the next 2 ain't stepping up to being hot. So that's what's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like I said. There's guys who step up hot, cold. But like again, other than Trey Turner, who's obviously put this team on his back, and showing me the only one who's worthy enough to be an all-star. That's it. I mean, there's no one else outside of Zach Wheeler that's shown to be an all-star. I mean, everyone else is ice cold. And listen, he didn't have the greatest bat either yesterday. Another one. Again, I guess the assignment was be aggressive and swing at anything. But man, when you're telling the guy swing at anything, they're swinging at things down low and away and in the dirt. So
yeah, Barbara saying blaming Wilson and Rojas for this fiasco is dumb. It's Harper. JT stop. Oh, Barbara, if you've been listening,
you want to take a turn on this one, or you want me?
Yeah,
I mean, because and listen, Barb, and we're glad you're a fan of the show, but let's not act like Rojas is not part of the problem either. I mean, he's a liability at the plate, just like everyone else in this lineup.
Yeah, same. We're not blaming just Weston Wilson and Rojas. We've been blaming the star hitters too. Like I just
we're blaming the hitting coach.
5 minutes ago, I just said, "Where's JT? Where's Bohm? Where's Bryson Stott?" Trey Turner's been up and down all year, and I know he's got a 300 average, but that dude cannot get a hit when it counts. Okay, this team stinks when it comes to hitting and people in scoring position. Case in point, yesterday, Bohm is at third with nobody out, and that run doesn't score. No, sorry, there's something wrong there. Like, I don't care. Like, Nick Castellanos, your job is to drive the ball to the outfield. That, like, if I'm I'm a ham and egger, as one old Bobby Heenan would say. I'm a ham and egger, and if I know I got to drive the ball to the outfield, why don't you know that? Like, I mean, come on. And that pitcher yesterday was living on the edges. And if you know, again, I never made it to pro baseball, but again, if you had a pitcher who's living on the edge, he's a left-handed pitcher, and he's living outside, you take the ball the opposite way. Like Castellanos can hit the opposite way. Like I don't. These guys are going up there. Their mentality to try to get runs is just mind-boggling. And like I said, they're probably going to get swept today by the Pirates. They're probably
And
going to get swept
and
because
that means you lose 9 out of 10. That means you lose 9 out of 10 games. You lost 3 straight series. How isn't Kevin Long being accountable for his actions? I mean, everybody wants to blame this guy and that guy in the lineup. No, you got to start at the top of it, and you got to start with Kevin Long. He's the hitting coach. He's not making any adjustments to take time with his players to make this thing right again. I mean, yes, I get it. Yesterday's assignment was to be aggressive at the plate, but still nothing's panning out because these guys are still swinging at things low and away, still look like they're golfing, still look like they're playing cricket. He needs to be accountable. If you gotta let him roll, then you let him roll. But there needs to be a kick in the pants for this team, and there hasn't been. And this team is now sleeping at the plate 1 through 9.
yeah, I mean, listen, Rojas got 2 singles yesterday, right? Like
Mhm.
neither time did he try to steal. Like, no offense. That's what he's in the lineup for, is to be a get singles and steal the bag. Get yourself in scoring position. He has yet he didn't do it. And what
No.
happens? You know, the one time was kind of not his fault. Like Turner hit a bullet and the dude caught it and doubled him up. But I mean, the second time he was on, like literally the guy was throwing breaking pitches. This dude could have been on third. But again,
Mhm.
they don't get themselves in the scoring position. Joe's got a great question here. Are you guys concerned Bryce Harper being injury prone? Front office has to do more the last 2 deadlines and didn't do enough. Window is closing rapidly. I don't feel like this window is closing. I mean, just these guys got to hit. It's
Um,
just that simple. They're not
yeah,
hitting.
to answer your first question, Joe, I don't think he's injury prone. Yes, he's getting a little older, and he's getting nicked up here and there, and it's part of the game. Unfortunately, this year he's getting more injuries. Again, he was just out. It feels like he's. I feel like he's NB a little bit, but no, it's unfortunate. Like you said, it just we wouldn't take much notice to it if the rest of the lineup would have filled the gap, and nobody's filling the gap. Not even Harper's filling the gap this year.
Uncle Steve checking in says, I blame the daycare for not growing the F up. Seriously, they
I
need to
agree.
take a bigger bite. I think they do too. And that's another reason why I want to get rid of Bohm. Bohm to me is just too immature. Um, but I doesn't for me, I don't know, man. They got to get their stuff together. She said Harper has been a huge disappointment since he came here. His Washington years were much better. No, Barbara, sorry. Not at all. You can maybe his regular season, but that guy's been money in postseason. Been money in postseason here. So no, that just sounds like a bunch of Harper heat, to be honest with you. And if that's your thing, you know,
And
and this here saying Wheeler's not an all-star this year, I don't know. I
and
think he's
to
borderline. He's borderline.
and yeah, well, first of all, listen, Barb, and listen, I
I
heard
could
Matty B talk about this. He said, listen, would it hurt the team if you got rid of Harper? At this point, no, because this team is ice cold. But right, if you get rid of Harper, that just tells your fan base we're sellers right off the bat. Right off the bat, you got the guy who they spent the most bang for their buck, and you're going to just cash him out. I mean, I look, I'm not here to play Homer, but I think I get it. This team is going through a dark rabbit hole like last year, and people are now reacting, maybe a little overreaction. But again, you have to hold to me Rob Thompson, Kevin Long accountable for what is going on now. I mean,
right.
I could say, like I said, if it was one player, fine, you could say he's ice cold. But when the whole team's being affected like this, no, there's somewhere high above. That's the issue. And right now, and I keep on harping on this, Kevin Long is your issue. There's no other way to put it. He's your problem. Again, guys are swinging everything in the ground, being over aggressive. There's something going on there, and it's not just one player, it's the whole lineup. So then you have to start the top with Kevin Long. He's the issue, and he may need to go. And if that it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely look at that. I would look at that as something. I would definitely look at that. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be a shakeup, and before they get rid of the manager, they're going to fire the hitting coach because it's not the pitching. You're getting good, decent starting pitching. Now I know Loiza's has had a couple rough starts, and Nola's been MIA this year, but you know Sanchez has been doing okay. Like he's kind of holding them in. Like, but I think Rangers been doing really well, and I would like to see. I would look really, I don't know why they're keeping these kid gloves on Painter. Painter's going up there. He's throwing the ball. Let's start bringing some of these younger. There needs to be an injection of life in this club. There's no life going. Steve says, Bohm used to be the king of SF. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what happened with Bohm. Bohm, to me, is just, he's not playing good ball. I don't know. He said these guys need to find the bat again. Might need a Pedro Serrano type moment. Yeah, we should get a Joe Boo and send it to the Phillies clubhouse. Put him in a Phillies uniform.
And listen, at least they don't have Chad Gabler here training everyone like a utility player. And listen, my point. This is the Rojas makes pennies compared to Harper and JT, Cassie Baum, and even Stott.
Well, yeah, he does, but he's what, a third-year player? He's a third-year player. So, yeah, I would understand that. But he's not going to be given the chance to play every day in center field. Everybody knows right now he's a stopgap until Crawford gets up here.
And let's be honest, the only reason Rojas is even on this team because we all know he's quick, he's fast, he can stretch the field, he's got height. Yes, he makes amazing plays in the center field, but he's a liability at the plate. He doesn't do anything. And again, you saw it yesterday. Baum on third. Does he drive in the run? No. Can he drive on a run in when bases are loaded? No. He gets shell shocked. No. He's a liability, just like everybody else.
Yeah. No. Mike saying fire Robbie. Joe Sullivan saying,
Mike, listen, you are getting more and more people on that island.
Yeah, you are. He said Scott isn't good enough. JT's declining. The pen blows, and 2 of the 3 outfielders are atrocious. Yeah, I do. I kind of agree with all that. I'm not going to say. I mean, left field's been a platoon all year, and I'm not going to. I can kill Kepler for being at the plate, but to me, I really feel like, I think Brandon Marsh's days are numbered on this team. And I hope they don't start him today. I really don't. I don't want to see him. He says, bring up the young guys. Marsh is horrible. He said the lineup still gets pitched way differently with Harp than with no Harp. Yeah, that's the truth. It's the truth. He says gross negligence coming back with this crappy offense. Or I don't know if that's offense or outfield.
Yeah. Well, listen, outfielders. But I want to say too, Mike. I mean, again, on paper, this is supposed to be a scary, scary lineup on paper, but reality, they're not. And no pitcher is afraid to go after these guys. They figured a way to shut this offense down. And now what we thought on paper, again, this team is supposed to be smacking the cover off the ball and racking up runs, but now. But only what, by fourth or fifth, you only come up with 2 or 3 innings of baseball. Listen, that's it.
Yeah, but it's every year around this time they go into this funk. Like it's nothing new. Like Nostradamus could see that this is going to happen every June. The only guy who stays hot in June is Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber's the only guy that gets hot. Everybody else seems to go on vacation in June. They do, and this is, again, they're going on vacation again. Now, I will say this. Historically, the 2 places where they're not really good on the road is Toronto. They historically never played well there. Go look at the record of the Phillies record at Rogers Center. It is atrocious. And Pittsburgh always seems to play them a little better in Pittsburgh than they do here. So for some matter of fact, I think we lost 2. Didn't we get swept by Pittsburgh either last year or the year before? We got swept by Pittsburgh out there. Remember, Al was out there.
I remember Al went out there.
I think it was when Al went out. So I don't know if it was last year or the year before. They got swept out there again. So Like this is some shocker that they're losing out there. I mean,
No,
really.
and like I said, it's crazy because it's what 3 weeks or 2 weeks since the last time we saw the Pirates, and world of a difference in teams. It's just that, like you just said, it's just the timing. And third week in May, they're playing decent baseball. Second week of June, it's just like you said. Mentally, these guys are thinking about the Bahamas. I don't know. I mean, that's what it seems like. That's where their minds are at. But
Long can't shine. He said long can't shine a turn. They're not good enough. Barb saying she is a fan. I look at the team objectively. I'm not a cheerleader. Yes, Barbara,
yes,
we know that.
we got that.
We get that. We
appreciate
it. Please don't ever insinuate that we're thinking that you're just a fangirl. You bring a lot to the table.
Yes.
In
a lot more than me.
Yeah. I mean, we know you know your baseball. So, but, we can always agree to disagree. Trade Stott, bring up Miller, and put at second base. That's an interesting question with that because would you trade Bush and Stott? I don't think Miller's ready to come up yet. I think Miller's probably about a year or two away from coming up. But would you entertain that?
Yes. I mean, listen, I'm just worried about what are you going to get in return? Who's going to want to make the deal? Because you're not going to get no boardwalk off no team. You're probably going to get I don't know, what's the Pennsylvania Avenue? I'm just trying to think of the brown on the boardwalk on Monopoly. The brown color. Someone help me out, please, if you know Monopoly like that.
Yeah. Mike JC, the starting pitchers are not the problem. Yeah, I'm not saying that they're the problem. I'm really not. But you got to go back. Look at you look at Juan. You look at Christopher Sanchez. Go back and look at his last 4 starts, Barbara. It's a mirror. It's the same game. He gets you 5 innings. 5 or 6 hits, 2 to 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. It's been his line for. I have it here in my book. I have it. I have a notebook right here of games that I've done. I've done like probably the last 3 Christopher Sanchez games. Right. Well, it's the same. It's the same lineup. It's the same. Well, it's the same thing.
Mike, they do got again. They have to try to win today, and if they get swept, which is going to scare me, because then after them you have the Cubs, who are playing. We know are playing really good baseball. You got the Blue Jays coming in here. That could be a so-so, but again, Blue Jays 4th in the AL. You got to go down to Miami. Miami, you might be able to get a get-right series. Then you got Houston, and then you got the Braves, Houston, and then Padres. So you got a little bit of a gauntlet going on, and you have to try and figure this out.
I'm not going to say gauntlet because you know what? All these teams hit different strides at different times. It's baseball. Like, again,
True.
like
you got to take one series at a time.
Right, I'm staying even keel. Like, I'm not going to get too high. I'm not going to get too low. Do they deserve to be criticized for not hitting the ball? Yeah, but we've already seen them go on an 11-game win streak early in this year, and I don't want to hear that it was all because it was Colorado and
right.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that because they can't control who they play. Which, by the way, like the A's just are smacking the hell out of the Diamondbacks. Like their first 2 games have been football scores. And the A's have taken 2 or 3.
Even the Marlins yesterday, learn how to put up 10 runs. I mean, against the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, it's like you said, it's even flows of baseball. And I know baseball fans or people checking the show, I don't want to hear ebb and flows. It is what it is. You go up, you go down, and hopefully this team, they could turn this ship around.
Yeah, and I'm tired of people going, oh, well, look, the Mets had injuries and they're doing just fine. And the Dodgers have injuries and they're doing just fine. And I'm laughing at them. I'm going, listen, the Phillies are just fine too. Like, people are acting like they were at the top of baseball and now they're out of playoff contention and they're, all the way back, like, 10th in the National League. Like, people, get a break. They're right there. They are right. They're not 10th in the National League trying to get up and stay in contention of a playoff positioning. They're going to make the postseason. Like, I'm sorry, the Phillies are not going to, unless injuries like really derail the team this year. I'm stating here now on June 8th, they're going to make the postseason. There will be another Red October. Now, what Dombrowski does from here to then, between here and the end of the trade deadline to make this team better, he can only do so much. You know what I mean? So, I'm not really worried. the way this team is, they're streaky. Like I said, they just got to get somebody's like JT's got to get going. She said Stock is protected by the Phillies front office. He's below average. Well, again, how do we know? It's not like Stott plays every day either. Like Stott's been more of a platoon player than I've liked. You know what I mean? Like I think he needs to be in there.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Barb, you bring an interesting point to me because yes, one day he's leading off, next day he's batting the 7-hole, next day we don't know where he's batting. But I mean, how many times we got to put somebody in the 8-hole to get themselves together, get themselves right? And now, like again, this team is going through some rough patches. You don't have your starting, your all-star, caliber. Bryce Harper, he's not in the lineup. You don't have Nola. You don't have Jose Alvarado helping with the ball. Now, like I said, the bullpen and the arms have been the least of your worries. It's been the bats. The bats have been your biggest problem. So even with Harper in the lineup now, I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch this one. Like Phillies have a few threads.
Hey, we're gonna touch.
With Joey here. These Turner, Harper, Schwarber. Bum gets hot at times. Cassie gets hot at times. This lineup. Well, Joe, I don't think it's overrated. I just think it's, they just don't ever all get hot at the same time. That's my only thing with this Philly. Like you've never saw 1 through 5 hot at the same time. It's always been 2 or 3 players hot that carry the team, and then when they start to cool off, 2 more players get hot. The only problem is it's been the same people that have been hot this year. And when they've started to cool off, the rest of the team hasn't gotten hot. And with that all being said, they're literally, 4 or 5 games within the best record in baseball. Like
they're still in the race. They're still in the race.
With all the issues the Phillies are having right now, they're still right there. They're right there at top tier. You know what I mean?
Now, if you are me and Matty B, we sound like we're in the last place, but no, they're still technically on paper. They're still on, in this race. So again, we'll see if they can turn around. Like I said, I'm worried about the upcoming schedule of this squad because I just mentioned some of the, to me, this is going to be a gauntlet. There's a couple of teams you can get right with, but again, looking scary.
I look at it like this, man. The schedule is what it is. You're going to have to play these teams. But, let's not forget. I mean, the Phillies went to Chicago, took 2 or 3 from the Cubbies. So, I mean, now the Cubbies are coming here. Same thing. The Mets swept us. But guess what? Now the Mets are coming here. So,
yeah, but Mike, this isn't a scary place to play anymore. That's a hitter's ballpark. And the way this team's been ice cold.
Listen, you can go from ice cold to red hot real quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You could be like it could be like it could be like icy hot on the package. You know what I mean? You could turn from ice cold to ice hot.
Jesus Christ, Pat. It is Sunday morning. All right. Well, with that being said, guys.
Did you ever do that?
We're going to No.
Oh, okay.
I am not you. Jesus.
You don't like to do weird things on Friday nights?
Dude, the weirdest thing I do on Friday nights is go get Jimmy's on my ice cream. Hold on, dude. We got to pay these bills real quick.
Okay.
Guys, make sure tonight you tune in 10 o'clock. Jesus, Mary and Ralph. Oh, I almost threw up my breakfast and I didn't even eat it yet. Final word with Matty P. Matty will be coming on here telling us how much homers we are, what kind of excuse emporium we're building. We're just giving our general take, so make sure you tune in tonight for him. Guys, of course, Pat will have you covered today after the game. He will be talking X's and O's. Will he be talking about a Phillies win? I have no idea. I personally don't see it happening, but that's what happens when Pat was the man this weekend, though. That's all I can say. From Friday night doing his own show to covering all 3 games. Again, you can join Pat every Thursday night along with Steve Fuentes for the attacking third at 9 o'clock. Make sure you guys tune into them. Friday night, Pat, I told you, man, he's our Bugs Bunny here. He's everywhere. He's like a rash. So make sure you tune him out for the wraparound. And then, of course, every Sunday morning, your Sunday mornings are not the same. Pat gets to carry my big ass around. So make sure you tune in for that, guys. And, guys, coming up this upcoming season, Pat is doing a 4-day week, man. He's doing Friday. Man, I'll tell you, Bugs Bunny, you are. Pat will have you covered Monday for the Cubs series. Steve will have you on Tuesday, and I will have you Wednesday for the Cubs series. So, guys, make sure you
Yes,
tune in.
I'm like an ulcer. Just don't go away. I just keep on growing.
No, I think it's more like a rash, buddy, but it's okay.
I hope it's.
Here he goes. They aren't. Hold on. I just want to make sure. I think I skipped. All right, there you go. It says, I hope disappointed him. Thought he was taking his steps. Hold on. Where the hell was I at?
I don't know. We keep on getting loaded here.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. This is the one that I was at. All right. So Barbara's next. This is hers. Sorry about that, guys. We went out here. This is just a train off the tracks going. I look, MLB made up a 3 wild card just in time for the 87-win Phillies to maybe make it. Well, the Phillies were 87 wins a couple years ago, and they went to the World Series. So it's all about when you get hot. Like I love some of our fans, but you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, okay, do you want them to have 86 wins and they miss the playoffs, or do you want them to have 87 and you get to go to Citizens Bank Park and they have a chance to do what they did a couple years ago? Like, come on, like they didn't have playoff baseball here for damn near a decade. Okay.
Right.
And now, like, come on, people. Like, it's funny. It's just really funny. Sometimes it's not your year. No matter what you do, no matter what you put out there, it's not your year. It happens sometimes. How many times have you seen the greatest team ever in baseball and they get knocked out?
Hey, listen, it happens. That's what we love about sports, because we just think we're just there and don't get him. Yeah. And listen, not to try and shift gears, but you seen this. You just saw this, quote unquote, the best Lakers team who just bought Luka in, and still nothing paid off.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, look at the Mariners. The Mariners had a team that won 116 games. Where'd it get them? It got them eliminated by the Yankees. So I'm not trying to hear that. Like, sometimes it's just not your year. It's not going to happen. Now, this may be that year for the Phillies, but, until they're knocked out and they're not doing anything, they're not going to go, and you realize, okay, this isn't our year. Maybe some changes do need to be done. I'm not mad at them for trying to run it back.
No.
You're paying these players. Why not try to get what you can get out of them? You know what I mean? I think it's going to look a lot different come this offseason. That I will. If they fall short, how old is undrafted Kemp? 27. I think he's long-term answer. Though they keep, I don't know if he's a long-term answer. Although they keep pushing him hard. Well, he's deserved it. Like, they didn't bring up Otto Kemp. They didn't just pick a name out of a hat. This kid's down there knocking the cover off the ball in AAA. You know what I mean? Like, come on, give me a break with that. Like, I'm not going to have nobody come on here with the Otto. I watch that kid play. Like, I go on MLB and watch some of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs games. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're right, Mike. They don't.
Braves and Marlins are absolutely horrible this season. Okay, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Horrible teams win 65 to 62 to 75 games a year.
3 years ago, this Phillies team was 12 games out of a first place spot. Like you just said, Mike, they let go of Girardi and they went on a run. So, like you said,
it could happen.
Ever lost.
He said they aren't fine, Mike. Their starting pitching is good, so that will probably get them in. They aren't good enough offensively. JT not being the best case has really screwed this lineup. I can't argue the JT thing. I really can't, Joe. I got to agree with you there. But, what people forget is what dominates in the postseason is pitching.
Yeah.
You're not seeing 14, 15 run games. You know what I mean? You're not seeing 9, 8 games in the postseason. It's pitching. The problem is it's the Phillies' pen. I think they're starting pitching as good as anybody's in the National League. They're starting.
The only thing that's cooled off is Luzardo. That's the only thing that's getting cold right now is Luzardo. Luzardo has looked, looks like the clock has struck midnight on him. Outside of him, I think, in the last 2 weeks, he's looked ice cold. But outside of him, Zach Wheeler still brings you production. Ranger's still decent at the plate. I'll say decent, not great, so people can't get on my back.
Well, he's not good. He's not better.
Sanchez, decent at the plate. So, again, you have decent arms. Like you said, even the bullpen, keep you in this run. But it is on the bats. The bats is your issue right now. That's problem number one. And then
Yes, they got to do something to generate this lineup. And like I said, the one constant thing this year has been Schwarber. It doesn't matter where they put Schwarber, he's produced.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I'm sorry, like this team. Did you see Ricky Metallico yesterday? Did you see the clips of him going off about this lineup? Like he's 1,000% right. They are paying way too much money to literally the last God, what 30? No, that's what since Tuesday. They've scored 3 runs since Tuesday. 3.
Right. And Mike, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because here you go. I mean, I wrote down some numbers that's going to be that are alarming, right? Tuesday, 10 strikeouts. Wednesday, 8 strikeouts. Thursday, 8 strikeouts. Friday, 10 strikeouts. Last night, 8 strikeouts. A combined of 44 strikeouts in this week. In this week alone. That's not good. That's not a winning formula. You don't win baseball games striking out that high. And everybody, and I get everybody coming in here complaining about the Phillies, as we are. We're not saying that you're wrong. We're not saying getting rid of Topper is a bad idea. We're not saying getting rid of Kevin Long is a bad idea. The whole lineup someone needs to be traded, a major trade. We need a kick in the pants somewhere. If you really want to bother them, give them an empty blue seat. Then they'll change.
Oh, here we go. Change. Steve saying we're the Emporium's open, but the Emporium is not like we are getting on the offense. Like I don't understand where you're saying the Emporium is open. Like,
I get it. Al's the manager, and you and I are just the 2 janitors that work there. We get it.
Yeah. We got to clean up all this shit. But anyway, no, like to me, like again, like a lot of people, like the one thing I laugh about is people talk about the Utley Rollins era. Like people forget about like 2004, 2005, 2006 when the Phillies crapped the bed when they could have made the playoffs and they didn't make the playoffs. And again, like they had good teams, remember? Like I think 3 years in a row the Braves beat them out by 2 games. It was like 3 years in a row they beat the Phillies out by 2 games. I think it's so ridiculous on how some of our fan base looks at this team and they go, well, Robbie needs to go. Listen, they're not going to fire him out. Who are you bringing in here? You're not going to bring in a Dusty Baker. You're not going to bring in a Don Mattingly. You're not going to bring – nobody's going to come in here for this job unless it's from the start of the season.
Well, listen, I know we could be talking Phillies all day long. I do want to get into some other things because we are getting close to the end of the show. And
we're getting close to the end?
Yeah, well,
already?
That's what. Listen, Mike, we were having so much fun. You wouldn't believe.
Yeah, well, listen, let me get through some of these comments, Pat, because you know how that's going to be. They're going to keep doing that, but start doing that. My point being the same 80s wouldn't have made. Well, guess what, Barb? They added a third wild card for that reason. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, again, it's either you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, so what would you rather have, Barb? Would you have it that an 87-win Phillies team through all the injuries and everything else that they're going through this year, not having Harper, would you rather them make the postseason at 87 wins or not make the postseason? That's what I want to know, because you can't have it both ways. You can't bitch that they didn't make the postseason and then bitch that they only made it because of the third wild card. You can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? So yeah, you kind of literally, you can't have it both ways. You got to pick one. And he said Kemp is only 24. If he was 27, he'd be treated more like Weston Wilson. Yeah. Dodgers scored a bunch in last year's playoffs and World Series. Yeah, they did. And the Dodgers also got a stacked lineup. The Dodgers lineup is more stacked than the Phillies. Like, let's be real. And if they want to compare lineups, I mean, I think the Phillies can be right there. But
and look, we get it because we're coming off a Super Bowl win. We just think the same. It's going to happen for the rest of the teams in this city, and it's not. Like, and I don't like the parallel, like when people try and compare teams. And look, the Phillies are their own thing, and the Eagles are their own locker room. You can't compare the patterns of one team having great success and the other teams just look
I'm
on
starting.
paper.
I'm starting to think Barb's a Matty B troller account. I really am. Logan O'Hoppe is sorely missed. Like, what the hell has Logan? What the hell was he doing in the minor leagues? If he was that damn good, he would have been brought up. Okay, and they would have moved on from JT. You want to know why? Because he was he's a younger, cheaper option. So at the time they traded Logan O'Hoppe, he was not better than JT. He was not a better option than JT. Get over it. The kid was blocked. They did him a favor. They sent him to Anaheim where he could play.
Right.
I mean, come on. God, what was it? I would love to have had, Julio Franco, but no, the Phillies used him in a trade to go get Von Hayes. You know what I mean? So, oh God, I think we should have an emporium for our listeners. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, this is great. 2000, 2008, Phillies had homegrown players: Burrow, Utley, Rollins, Howard, Hamels, etc. This current team is bought by. You're right. This current team is bought by Middleton. Well, Middleton put his money up and said, "Go get it." Barb, do you remember the lean years? When Bill Giles ran the club and didn't spend any money. Like, come on. Again, Philly fans, I love you to death, but I remember going to games paying $1 or $3, whatever it was, to get in, and a 70,000 seat bowl was 14,000 people. You know what I mean? And there was more Mets fans coming down there than there was Phillies fans. But yet everybody wants to, get on, oh, they had this, they had that. Well, guess what? Phillies got talent this year. They got Painter, they got Abel, they have Crawford, they have Riccone. They have, go down and look at the people that we highlight every Sunday. Every Sunday we highlight people.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, they have good players. And this is what kills me, Pat. This is what kills me with some of our listeners. There was no way that, I'm going to bring up, since you brought up Ryan Howard, how long did it take Ryan Howard to get up here? Ryan Howard probably could have been up here in 2003, but he had Jim Thome blocking him.
I know, but Barbie, to me, you raised a good point. I mean, yes, homegrown players versus being a ball team. Look, we did decent. It's just, I don't know. There's something about this team that, and right here, I'm going to go with Kaepernick here. The Phillies couldn't beat the Mets in the last season with the same. What's changed? There hasn't really been much other than adding Luzardo and Kepler. Other than that,
they added Luzardo and Kepler. The Mets have lost. Manaea is going to be going for most of the year, and I'm sorry. Do you really think he's going to? Like, the Mets had so many good guys having career years last year. They all had career. Lindor had a career year last year. So did Pete Alonso. So did was it Severino? They had Severino. They don't have him this year. Like, stop with the madness with the Mets. Like, the Mets are going to fall, dude. Like, I'm dying laughing. You're going to come back and, like, by August, you're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, the Mets collapse. The Mets do it all the time. All the time. And, like, I'm not trying to hear that, man.
They're playing decent. Again, they're playing
good ball.
And they're playing against the Rockies right now. I know 9 kids on my street can beat the Rockies.
And here's the best part. Like, they're playing the same teams the Phillies played. But all of a sudden, it's the Mets this and, and the Dodgers that. Like, give me a break. Give me a break.
I don't fear the Dodgers. Yes, the Mets do wear me some. Of any team in the race right now, the Cubbies are playing decent baseball. Again, not scary, but the Mets, yes, I do have fear. Me personally, I just want
to ask Barb one question, and I'm being. She said Logan O'Hoppe is performing very well in the major league level. Yes, he was, but he was also tearing up the minor league level here, but he wasn't going to come up. He was not a better option than JT Realmuto. That's why the Phillies moved on from him. That's why they packaged him in a trade to get this kid ready. Now, you're sitting here saying this, right? You're sitting here saying this about until he proves otherwise. Well, how long is it going to take for him to prove? Because right now he's only up here for about 10 days until Harper gets back. So after that, what's going to happen? Let's see. It says Logan O'Hoppe was by far the best player on the field in Somerset Pats versus Reading. But they had invested right. There you go. I now that I can agree with. Like, I felt like they could have gotten a lot more for Logan O'Hoppe, but to sit there, he was never going to play in the Phillies uniform because he had them. She said most of those players are in the minors and not on the Phillies. Well, Barbara, they got to start somewhere. It's like, yeah, they're not on the Phillies right now, but these guys could be carrying the Phillies for years to come. Okay, Painter's going to be a front of the line starter. Okay, Abel, if they keep on him, he's going to be. You're getting two really good top of the rotation guys right now that you can pair with Sanchez and Wheeler. Because right now, I don't have no faith in Nola. I have no faith in Nola. If anything, if he comes back, he's the guy I'm throwing to the bullpen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then here goes Barb, our last comment. Lindor, I'm sorry. Here goes Steve. He goes, Lindor had a great career in Cleveland. It's not an arbitration.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is because again, he had a career year last year with the Mets.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean, listen, he's a great player, and the Mets did a good job at building their team up. I'm not
listen.
As much as I hate them, you gotta tip your cap. They've got better.
They got a 1-2 punch in Alonso and Lindor. I'm not going to take away from the Mets. The Mets are a decent team. That's what scares me. Oh man, here goes Barb. She goes, Mike, Alonso had an off year. Lindor has been excellent for 10 years. Do you watch any other team besides the Phillies?
Yes, I do. And he wasn't great for all 10 years either, Barb. Like, yes, did he have some good years in Cleveland? Yeah, he was a perennial all-star out there. And yeah, I watch more baseball than probably most people. So I do watch baseball. Making me, and you said Alonso had an off year last year. I don't think he had an off year at all last year because when he went to go get his free agency this year, he had a bunch of teams looking at him. So if he had an off year, people wouldn't have been high on him. He just didn't get the money he wanted. That's why he went back to the Mets. That's why he's doing it on a prove it year this year. So no, I don't know. All right, Pat. Now that we got caught up on all these comments, and I love you guys. I love each and every one of you.
Yeah. Well, listen. Listen. I want to talk about other teams in the city. Listen, I gotta give some kudos. The Philadelphia Water Dogs with a huge win yesterday over the Maryland Whipsnakes. A huge 16-12 win, making a statement right there in North Carolina. They're starting their season 1-0. Karen McCardle, 4 goals, 3 in the first. I mean, he had a hat trick in the first quarter, but I mean, right now. I mean, give it to the local product, Mike Sowers, just playing the quarterback of this Water Dogs team, just surveying the field, finding open teammates, finding great opportunity, guys in scoring position, guys in transition. I mean, like I said, Mike Sowers did a great job quarterbacking this Water Dogs team, surveying the field, finding guys open, guys coming down the scoring lanes. I mean, he was from the back end. I mean, this kid did a great job just winning. And like I said, this Water Dogs team being very creative in the scoring position. I mean, half court sets, they were really nice. Finding the open guys open. Like I said, Mike Sowers just being a quarterback, surveying the field, finding the open teammate. I mean, really did a great job getting this team their W. Karen McCardle with 4 goals. Jack Hanna push R2. This dude's hitting a spin move, finding the back of the net. Jack Taylor, 2 goals. I mean, great win for this Water Dogs team. So, and next week, the PLL comes to Philadelphia. Father's Day weekend. The Water Dogs will be taking on the Boston Cannons. That team is off to a 2-0 start. So maybe the game of the week to watch for. See this Water Dogs team really get tested next week. I can't wait to see it. But Mike, and Flyer news though, known Case is going to be here for 4 years, getting $4 million. Yes. Thoughts on that?
I love it. I love the signing. Just want to get through these quick comments real quick about the Phillies. He said, so after today, they have 3 with the Cubbies, 3 with the Blue Jays. Yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be the exact opposite of what happened in Toronto because Phillies never play well in Toronto, and Toronto never plays well here. Now, they could come in and sweep. Again, it all depends on the Phillies got to get them bats going. Pete Alonso's nickname was Pete Alonso for 4 last year by his own fan base. Yeah, he was, but he also bailed them out of a lot of stuff too. last year. Mike Alonso also hit 53, 46, and 40 homers and drove in 131s twice. He didn't do that last year. Bryce Harper will never match that. Well,
Woo.
I don't know. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to knock Alonso. Alonso's a good ball player.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now that I answered those, Alonso's a good ball player.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I think Harper wanted him here. But anyway, yeah, I love the Noah Cates signing. To me, it seems like they got that line right there. I mean, because they just signed Forrester to a 2-year. So you have Forrester and Cates now on that second line. Now they're inked for at least the next 2 years together. Pretty much, Tyson Forrester said, "I'll sign a 2-year prove-it deal to help you guys out until we get out of salary cap hell." And so going forward, I like it. I like the signing.
Yeah, same, Mike. I mean, look, there's some things I like that Danny Brier's doing so far. Again, sign Tyson Forrester, sign Noah Cates for a little longer, keeping the young core of this team.
And they also signed the kid from the KHL too.
Yeah, huge defenseman.
No. But they signed they signed a huge they signed the huge defenseman from the KHL, but they also signed the KHL's leading scorer too. They brought this kid in too. He's like 19 years old.
Wow.
He's pretty fast looking kid. I got his name slipping me right now, but
I same. But yeah, no, Kate's been.
I appreciate you guys, Pat and Mike. I love talking baseball. Barb, we love you coming on here too.
Same. No, Cates, like I said, here for 4 years, $4 million. Last year, he had recorded 16 goals, 21 assists. Like I said, Danny Briere, there's some things I like what he's doing, keeping the young core, bringing in new assistants. I don't want to butcher their names, but he's bringing 2 new assistants. One used to be with the Red Wings for the past 3 years. Last one, the other one's been with Vancouver, coached there. Decent job. However, Mike, I think Danny Briere jumped the gun bringing in Rick Tuck, and I'll tell you why.
Pump the brakes.
No, you need to pump the brakes because
here we go.
Dallas just released Peter, and I don't want to
Peter Du Bois.
Dallas just released their new head coach, who, for a reason, that guy brought relevancy to the Dallas Stars.
True, but he can't get him over the hump. Can't get him over the hump. Can't get him over the hump.
But you need a winning caliber coach. He's that. I need that here. Rick Tocchet is not a winnable coach. I need a winnable coach here. I need a winning resume. He's not.
How do you know?
Because his resume speaks for itself.
His resume. His team had 109. His team had 109 points this year, Pat.
Rick Tocchet's only been in the playoff twice as a head coach.
Yeah, and
look at the head coach.
Yes, and look at the time when he was in the playoffs. It was the time when he took a young team to the playoffs. Same thing. Vancouver was a young team. They kind of scrapped. They got rid of most of their players. Got them up to 109 points this year.
I know Peter Du Bois has got a will-winning formula.
And Dallas has got a stacked roster too. They've been to at least the Western Conference Final the last 3-4 years. So yes, but you're looking at what Tocchet did with less. Tocchet did. He made. He took it's a Utah team now, but when they were in Arizona as the Coyotes, he took a team that was basically finished. They were picked to go, I think, either last or next to last in the Western Conference. Took them to the playoffs. Excuse me. So, I mean, come on. Like, you got to give Tocchet a chance. I know people are looking at it as, well, it's them bringing back an old flyer. Hogwash. This dude, he was an assistant coach on 2 Pittsburgh Stanley Cup teams. He was an assistant coach on one of the Tampa. Hold on, Pat. Let me finish. Like, he's got cups, dude. Being a coach, an assistant coach. So,
but the key word's assistant, not a head
coach.
But
he's making his bones, man. You got to make your bones doing that. Look at LaPerriere. LaPerriere was a bench coach with the Flyers. What happened? He dropped down. He took the Phantoms to the playoffs this year. Okay, and what did they do? They rewarded him. They kept him in-house. When everybody thought he was leaving, they brought him back up into the front office. He's making his bones, man. Listen, Tocchet, I can understand if nobody was interested in Tocchet. Dude, half of the coaching, all the coaching vacancies wanted Rick Tocchet this year. He was the main guy, and Tocchet chose us. We wanted him, but he chose us. No, you say Peter.
I think Danny Pierre jumped the gun. He could have waited out, because now Dallas has they released their head coach, and you could have brought in Peter Du Bois to coach his Flyers team and get them somewhat of a winning formula head coach. Well, that's what this team needed. This team needs a.
How do you know Peter Du Bois wants to coach? Usually when you get let go of a job like that, dude, and especially after the season they have, first thing you're going to do, man, you want to get away. You want to get away. Like he's not going to pull Mike Sullivan, where all right, Pittsburgh, you're firing me. All right, I'm going to go to New York. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do that.
I mean, I don't know. I think Danny Briere jumped the gun by bringing Rick Tocchet in. I thought that was too soon. I thought he should just wait it out. I think he should have waited out the coaching search, brought in Peter Du Bois, come in here and help this young squad out. That's what they need. They need a coach with a winning formula. He's got a great resume. Again, that Dallas Star team was very inconsistent until that man got in there. He's reached the relevancy.
I got to disagree with you, Pat, because you're acting like Tocchet doesn't have a pedigree. He's got 3 cups. Like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, but he was an assistant coach. He wasn't the head coach.
He still got him. So what?
Coach, as a head coach, he only has 2 runs in the playoffs. That's it. He only made it there once with Arizona, and he made it to the second round with Vancouver.
After rebuilds, man. They were after rebuilds. And if he did such a bad job, why do you think, if he was doing such a bad job, they were basically kissing his ass to stay in Vancouver. Again, it was more than half the league, Pat, wanted him. Oh, damn, excuse me. They wanted him as their head coach. Like, come on, dude. Like, no, you're wrong on this one. This is the one I understand about Du Bois. He got fired, he got let go. But to say Briere didn't wait long enough.
The minute a coach like that gets released, you open the checkbook, you ask him how many zeros, and
you gotta have your coach in place when you're getting ready to do the draft.
True.
Okay, so
the draft hasn't happened yet. Bring him in.
Oh man,
he knows the league. He knows what It's okay. You gotta go bathroom.
No, I got a tickle. A tickle in my throat. I get.
I get.
I felt like you on a Saturday night at the Blue Oyster.
So it's the normal.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I felt like the Flyers did what they had to do. Like I said, Tocchet was wanted all over the league. He was wanted all over the league, dude. He was the coach coming out this year. So, and the Flyers got him until Du Bois got let go. But Du Bois didn't win anything as a head coach. He hasn't. So, if you're going by that, okay, why should the Flyers hire Du Bois? He hasn't done nothing. He's been the Andy Reid of hockey. He's been getting there, been a bridesmaid, but never a bride.
Yeah, but who knows what he could, if he's bringing a team like Dallas, make them runner-ups in the West. I want to see what he could do with a Michkov at the palm of his hand. I like to see what he could do with a Travis Konechny or an Owen Tippett at the palm of his hand.
Okay,
I want to see. I don't believe in Tocchet is the right guy here. I still don't believe it. I think he's here because he's an ex-Flyer. I believe
has nothing to do with him being an ex-Flyer. He's an ex-Flyer. He's an ex-Flyer. He's an ex-King. He's an ex-Penguin.
Where this is on? Where as a head coach resume says he's going to be a great coach for this
because
team.
He's got 3 cups, Pat, as an assistant. Again, you're looking at it as being the main guy. You got to look at the situations he was in, and this is where you're not looking at the situations where he was in. He came there in not even a rebuild. He started that rebuild with Arizona, and once Arizona, he got them to the playoffs. Then they moved on from him because they wanted to bring somewhat better in. Okay, and what happened? That didn't work. Went right downhill. Then he goes over to Vancouver, who was in the middle of a rebuild.
The Gobblers lose. Look out.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam.
He took a Vancouver team that was rebuilding, got them to 109 points, and got them into the postseason in a stacked West. In a stacked West. Like, no, I'm not hearing that, dude. Like, and it's like, again, he's won cups with different. He won one with Tampa and 2 with Pittsburgh as an assistant coach. So yes, he's won the cup. He knows what it takes to get there. You can't take it away from him.
We'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, this is going to be the summer of Tocchet, and not just him and Danny Barrera to see what they do with the draft. Barr says, I think Dan threw our fans a bone. We love Tocchet. Seeing him makes me smile, although it's hard to expect miracles from no matter who the coach is. Yeah, exactly. Hackstall did well on an expansion team, but we fired him. You never know. Look out. Yeah, look, like you said, he made the playoffs with I get you. He did well with an expansion team. This is your best show ever. Well, thank you.
Thank you. We try. So, Pat,
we try.
Question of the day. What's the meal of the day?
The question before we wrap up the show, what is going to be the meal day? It's going to be something different, something unique. I never have it. Chicken parm.
Something with sauce and mozzarella cheese. Chicken parm. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I have no idea. The home foreman don't know what she wants to do. Yeah, I don't know. I might do tacos. Today.
Oh, you might do a taco. That's not a bad pull. Not a bad pull by you. That's actually
yes. I actually have a new panini machine, and it makes the perfect quesadillas. So I might do taco quesadillas, whatever. Today.
Oh man, I love some good French food, boy. Woo. Good old quesadillas.
Manicotti. Oh my God, that was my mother's favorite manicotti. Manicotti's awesome. Barb must be Italian because she knows on Sunday you're doing that. Mike is making pierogies. Mike, you're going to turn into a pierogi. Didn't you make them a little? Mike's going to turn into a damn pierogi.
Mike, pierogies are a very underrated item. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, very, very underrated.
My wife loves them.
Is this your best show ever? Maybe, Barb. I mean, maybe the fact because Al's not here. No, I'm kidding. Al's just been busy. Like I said, he was running Delco Day.
He said, Mike Douche. No, I'm good, man. I don't eat seafood, man. I don't eat seafood. I don't touch no seafood. Which I eat tuna.
Big fan of the shrimp taco there, Mike. Big fan.
I'm sure you are. Any kind of meat in your mouth is good. Hey, good morning, Alice. And he says, I'm not sure what. Adam, you're not sure? Oh, man. She says, take care, guys. I will see you next time. Barb, thank you so much for tuning in. Barb, you can see Barb and everybody else here tonight on the Final Word with Matty B. Barb is a big Matty B contributor to his show. So she will be on there.
She's one of the few that support that man. She's one of the few. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
That's why I think it's his burner account, but it's okay. I mean,
Yeah, right.
But if it isn't, Barb really does talk really good baseball. I think she's awesome. But guys, again, just to reiterate, Pat's going to have you covered today, and with the Fightins final. And don't forget too, you will have the Down on the Farm report.
Yes, I already got that lock, stock, and barrel.
Question, Pat, are you going to be wearing overalls when you do the Down on the Farm report? Coming tomorrow. Again, this is our lineup for the Chicago series. Pat is doing a wraparound. He started on Friday. He's going to end it on Monday with the Fightins final. Then it's Steve, and then on Tuesday, myself on Wednesday. So make sure you are there. And of course, I just mentioned him. The Final Word tonight at 10 o'clock with Matty B. He will be in here telling you guys how much homers me and Pat are, like we already know.
Yes.
Then you have Thursday night, you have Pat and Steve. They got you covered with the Union on the attacking third, everything MLS related. They, when it comes to kicking balls, Pat got you covered. And then we got more Pat. Friday night, after the Fightins final, you will get him with the wraparound, or as Alex to affectionately call the reach around.
Yes. What'd you call me? Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny. You're everywhere. Again, me and Bugs Bunny. I'm Daffy, of course. We are here every Sunday morning. So, guys, it has been great. Thank you, guys. Hold on, wait a minute. We got to. Oh, wait a minute. Ellis says, what's gotten into the Phillies? Not their bats, Ellis. Adam says, great show. She says,
thank you.
She goes, oh my God, you guys, great show. As for Mikey. And Adam says he's making some kicking meatballs. I don't know if it's kicking or chicken, but hey, listen,
stuffing.
Right, exactly. So, guys, for my broadcast partner over yonder, there, Pat Bernard, I am Mike Lauro, and we will see you guys 1 week from today. But Pat will be back later, so make sure you check us out then. Have a good week, everybody.